A warm welcome to everyone. This is our Genius Weekly Call, and I'm so excited about the upcoming 2 months, November and December. We've got so many exciting things that are happening. So later today in the newsletter, I hope to have the registration done, but so you can mark your calendar, we are having our Genius Summit, and you can find the Genius Summit on my events calendar. Will be taking place on Wednesday and Thursday. So Wednesday and Thursday tentatively slated for 10 to 3 on Wednesday and Thursday, December 12th and 13th. We will be really talking about energy medicine in general with a biofeedback focus, and we'll be hearing from our practitioners and users as well as explaining what energy medicine is, what resonance medicine is, and why it works. So we'll also be hearing from the developer of the Genius Insight, and we'll be just having wonderful, great interviews and of course, some wonderful giveaways and offers during that class as well. So make a bookmark of my website, awakentotalhealth.com. That's where I have a lot of the updated information as well as a lot of the offers. I really appreciate and recognize everyone on here who is an affiliate, and that's a really good place for affiliates to go to see the latest specials. I just posted the November specials, and if you let your interested folks know about the latest specials, I do change those every month with different offers so people can know that they're not static, that they actually are offers. So definitely check those out. All right, well, we have some volunteers. You know, we do live cases, and I'm not sure if we were totally successful with some of the folks who were trying to get onto the webinar. Now, Julie has volunteered, and I also don't know if we're going to be able to get voice connection. So Julie, let's go ahead, and I know Carol, I believe, is joining us as well. If not, we have a couple of volunteers waiting as well. So I think Carol T is here. Carol, if you are the one who's volunteering, maybe just write me a little message there. We do have your voice and picture. And so let's go ahead and see if we can unmute Julie and talk to her.
Hi there.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm doing okay, thanks.
Oh, well, my goodness. Tell us what happened so we can help you.
That would be awesome. So, about 8 days ago, I was hiking with my husband and we were coming down the trail. I slipped on some mud with my right foot, and then I fell so hard and so fast I couldn't even put down a hand and fell on my left hip, and it fractured my pelvis and my sacrum on that left side. So there's not much, that can be done other than just bed rest. And I have been working with the RIFE program a lot, but I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to work with all of you today.
Sure, and anybody can, just, send their prayers and energy, and we'll certainly be working on you. Let's get your voice recording, and I'll go ahead and record your voice with the AEIOU in your name. So I'm going to cue you. I'll start recording that in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
AEIOU, 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 Julie Conley Peda.
Wonderful. Okay, that's perfect. And are you in a lot of pain?
Yes.
Oh, you poor thing. Oh my gosh, what a terrible fall.
Yes, it was such a surprise.
You sound like you're in good spirits. It's amazing. You must have a lot of resilience to be able to be in such good spirits right now.
And wonderful friends. Thank you, Patty Doherty, and a wonderful husband.
And that will help you in difficult times, so that's really wonderful. And then, are you taking any medications or supplements for the for the pain or the inflammation?
I haven't taken much pain medication. I don't tolerate pain medication well. So I've been taking about 400 milligrams of ibuprofen per day. And then as far as supplements, I've been taking calcium, magnesium, um, my usual vitamins, a lot of vitamin D. I've doubled up on my dosages of vitamin D. Um, and I take vitamin K, um, and just the usual vitamins.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm glad that you're not, in so much pain that you're forced to take pain medications. I mean, that's good to know. And so the date that is set in place is about what, 4 to 6 weeks for healing, or what's the
Yes.
estimated time? Okay. And during that time, you're pretty much limited in movement. You have to tell us a little bit about that.
So when I'm ambulatory, I can use crutches just in the
Mm,
house.
mm-hmm.
And then we have a wheelchair. So if my husband gets me outside and does a tour of the neighborhood occasionally. So it's good to get outside and be in nature.
Oh my God, what a sweetheart. No, that's really important to get outside and to get some nature and all of that. That's going to make a huge difference. All right, well, let me get busy here with doing some testing and we'll come back in a little bit and then talk to you, okay?
Okay, great.
All right, perfect. So first thing, we just go ahead and scan the aura, and what a terrible fall, what a thing to happen when you're out in nature enjoying the day. And so just sending lots of prayers and blessings to Julie, and I'm really, really happy that she was able to get on the class today. And it's a good time because we just finished the bone anatomy testing set. So that's another thing that's available online. You can go to the website and I'll send everybody the link and I'll send it out in the, uh, okay, here we go. There we go. I'll send it out so you can see the link in the chat or question area. So that's all of the 206 bones, and this is going to be fun to do some testing with this. So the first thing we do is test the aura, and it's a little bit muddy, and we'd like to see it clear up. See how there's no sort of clarity to it. There's just a little, sort of a density. There's some light over here. And then sometimes we see that pinkish energy that almost looks like injury or kind of has an interesting hue to it. So this is a great starting point, actually. So we're grateful to be able to send some energy to Julie for this. We do see the chakras having a red bar there, meridians, and meridians are always powerful to work with. Oh, my. Minerals, electrical sensitivities, infections, so hormones, oh, some wonderful things. Now, at any age, sort of over the age of 50, we always are thinking about bone density. And one of the things that bone density loss is related to is the decrease of hormones, the decrease of estrogen specifically. So that is something, you may want to consider the endocrine regeneration program. You may want to consider getting a hormone panel done and looking at that either with me or someone in your area who is a naturopathic doctor. And that might be something that will help you in the future, probably a lot more than calcium will. Certainly magnesium is a wonderful idea. However, the power of calcium has been grossly overstated. Bone density is a metabolic event. It's about getting the hormones in place to lay down that bone. And actually, parathyroid hormone is a wonderful one to use because the uptick or imbalance in parathyroid hormone can cause the mobilization of bone. So bone can be mobilized to basically decrease bone density with too much parathyroid hormone. And there are different things that regulate that as well that we won't touch on at the moment. So this is a good panel for you to work on for yourself, Julie, just on the Genius. So to work on this hormone panel would be very, very good. I think I do see the estradiol there. And remember, you guys, this doesn't mean a deficiency. It means that there is from a strict biofeedback perspective, there is a disharmony in the relationship. There's a stickiness. The energy field is pointing this out for some reason. Why? Because there's something going on. But how you interpret it is entirely up to your knowledge base. But even if you didn't know anything about hormones, you could at least notice it and add it to the tray. That will have the same effect for anybody, whether they know about what estrogen does or they don't. So the hormone panel would be the first one to focus on. So the hormone panel would be the first one to focus on. That'd be a really good one to do every day. So then we got a lot of stuff really interesting down at the bottom here, the infection. And you guys, this is something I've been thinking a lot about, is that as soon as the sun changes, as those who are here in the northern hemisphere, my goodness, everything happens with the shortening of the day and the loss of vitamin D. So, Julie, if you want to write down in the chat area, what kind of vitamin D are you taking and how much? I suspect that it would be, and have you had your vitamin D levels looked at? So let us know that. So there's something, going on there, and it could be the loss of estrogen, especially you seem like you're slender. And so when people are slender, then it's good because they don't have too much xenoestrogen, so that's a good thing. But on the other hand, in estrogen, it can be more severe, not that you should put on a ton of weight, but you can be more severe because as soon as you go into menopause, you really lose a lot of estrogen, whereas women who have more fat tissue, they produce their own estrogen within the fat tissue. So it's a double-edged sword. It's not a great thing, but it can have some benefit. I just want to point out this. I was just listening to an interesting lecture about cognition, and anyone who has any concern about dementia or maintaining their good cognitive health should look into a supplement called lithium orotate. So lithium orotate, we talked about this in my brain webinar where we talked about the brain panels, but lithium orotate, very, very good. And strontium, interestingly enough, very good for bone density. So look into strontium for bone density. It's something you may want to get in a liquid form. Iron, really unrelated to the bones. This could be an excess of sodium. That's why you have to be careful. Zinc is good for the immune system. This could be either low hydrochloric acid, or it could be literally an exposure to chlorine in the water. So this is saying something with calcium. You guys, it's hard to know. The best place to get calcium is from green leafy vegetables, and to avoid an excessive protein diet. So if you're a big paleo eater or you're a big meat eater, this may not be serving you for your bones. The more that you consume a high level of protein, the more you excrete minerals in order to keep a constant pH. So in the British Medical Journal in 2010 and 2011, there were two very good articles, studies that revealed that taking calcium supplements can cause calcifications in the body. And in the United Kingdom, they're no longer recommending as a result, because these supplements could have more cardiovascular implication, then you can't really, it's not product in, result out, you guys. The body is not like a machine. The body is based on a lot of hormones and metabolism, as well as all of the things we know about quantum physics and consciousness, that you're constantly creating your body through your thoughts, right, and your words. But beyond that, what is really significant is you can't just plug a lot of calcium into the body and just say, hey, go into the bones. It just really doesn't work like that. There's a tremendous amount of regulating factors that only allow a certain amount of calcium to be laid down. And if it's not the right form of calcium, then this calcium becomes circulating in the body to form gallstones, kidney stones, atherosclerotic plaque. So you need to be very, very careful about that. And I really would recommend like you eat green leafy vegetables for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's how you get your calcium from now on. Magnesium is in the green leafy vegetables. Now, magnesium doesn't have the kind of implication that calcium does. In other words, you could have magnesium glycinate or magnesium taurate. There's no deleterious side effects from taking the supplement. So let's just look at vitamins and see what the reading is on vitamin D. Even though it's yellow, there's no reason that you cannot test this. It's just giving you the prioritization in terms of all of these 27 panels compared to each other to give you places that would have great benefit to look at. So when we look at this and we see blue bars, it shouldn't mean that we don't test anything that's green and yellow. It just means that the red and the blue have a lot of juicy areas for us to look at. So let's go ahead and look at the vitamins. And so vitamin D appears to be imbalanced. So this may not be the issue. It may be the hormones. Because yes, she fell, and probably increasing core strength would be good. Lots of things, you know, she probably does yoga, but some more yoga. Balance is really important, and just being super careful. Probably was just like slippery. It was just that one moment. You know, I've been dealing this month with a couple of different women who have broken feet and, you know, hand and wrist, and just got to be real careful, right? But be that as it may, it doesn't seem like vitamin D is the issue, so it could be the hormones. And if we did a bioidentical hormone panel, a salivary hormone panel, we're probably going to find some issues there with the progesterone being too low and the estrogen being too low. And so estrogen being too low has a big influence on bone density, you guys. Okay, let's now go to the bone panels in particular. So, sorry, we want to go to the libraries here. And it would be helpful to add the chakras and meridians. Those would be good for her to work on. We're just saving time here in looking at some of this. All right, so let's go ahead, and this men's hormones, this is going to switch, I think, could be testosterone. That's another one that really can make a huge difference. And there's some controversy whether testosterone is related to bone density. But let's go ahead and type in bones. If I could spell here. Okay, so we've got a lot of things. In fact, we can do our bone health assessment as well. So we've got the hand, the foot. The one that we're looking for is around the spine. Okay, chest, head, leg. Let's do the leg. What I'm really looking for is the ischium and the ilium. So this has the ilium on the left and the ischium on the left. So those are part of the hip bones. Those are part of the hip bones. Was the injury left-sided or right-sided? Maybe it was right-sided, but it's weird that we're getting the hip area this way. Let's see if we can see any of this. Google Images has really just not as helpful as it used to be. Let's see if we can get something on here. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so, oops. See if we can, no, view this. All right, you guys, just bear with me for a second. I just want to view the main screen. So what I just wanted to be able to point out here is that the ilium and the ischium are connected in that hip bone. And then I think she said something about the sacrum as well. So we see those here. We're going to add them. And then we do have ischium right as well. It could have been compensating, or there could have been torn ligaments. We've got the leg on the left, the tibia on the left, and the pubic bone. And we've got ilium right, so both bones being affected to some degree. And on these bone panels, I'm actually going to be, and anybody who has them will get the update, I'm going to be adding ligaments like ligamentous strain and torn ligaments as part of each one of the panels, because what really keeps your bone steady is the ligaments. And that's another really good thing to look into, is getting ligamentous stability. Poor adrenal health contributes to ligamentous instability, and there are a number of different supplements that you can use in order to increase your ligamentous stability. But it's really the ligaments that keep the bones together. It's they talk about it in Rolfing, called tensegrity. And really, all of these bones would be useless if they were not supported in a crisscross manner through ligaments. And so it can be the deterioration of the ligaments, and of course the muscles as well. The muscles and the core are a big part of how all of this stays healthy. All right, so let's look at the bone health assessment and see how the bones in general are doing. So bone density loss. So there is some active bone loss. Now remember, this isn't a diagnosis, you guys. This is just energy, but interesting observation. Calcitonin. Now, what calcitonin does is it's the opposite of what parathyroid hormone does. So calcitonin lays down bone. It helps to increase bone density. We don't give it as an actual hormone, which would seem obvious for a number of different reasons. It has I forget what they are, some side effects to them. However, calcitonin is interesting to run energetically. So this is another hormone that would be beneficial for Julie to run for herself daily in order to lay down the bone. We go down here and we have acidic pH, the cause of bone loss. So we may need to tweak the diet in some way until this improves. And having more green leafy vegetables and plant-based foods, that may help. And there's a huge difference. You can get good amounts of protein in plants, and they don't have the same effects of causing you to urinate out your minerals as meat-based protein, chicken and fish, red meat. All of those things cause you more to lose those minerals. So we've got the bone matrix loss. So there is active loss of bone density going on. So walking when you're able to, lifting, strengthening the just weightlifting in the legs, weightlifting to work the core, weightlifting to work the arms, the whole body. Weightlifting for women is one of the most important things that women don't do. And it's extremely important to maintain bone density. It's not just about what we're putting into our mouths, it's the actions that we're taking. And some serious weight, you guys. We're not talking those little 5 and 10 pound things. Get into the gym, work with a fitness trainer. This is going to keep you healthy and keep you mobile for a long time. We have to take this seriously. Poor tensile strength, excess protein, cause of bone loss. So you see the repeated theme. That's how often we're able to see consistently. I'm using the information going up to number 200 here, because those are all usually resonate in terms of the actual like situation going on with the person. I was just working on this. People who got the bone set are going to get an update. I'm working on some additional information for you because this is really fun. We can go to actually Entangled Insight, and from bone matrix loss, we can use bone regeneration. So that's really fun. So that would be another really good one for you to use daily, is to use that frequency in there for bone regeneration. So we'll go ahead and pop that in there. It's interesting that it's only giving a 43% connection there. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see if there's anything else we can compare it to, and let's just compare it to this one, see if it's any different. Let's see, bone regeneration. There might be something else that's needed in there that maybe is not making the connection, but you're still using the same frequency. So we know the frequency would be really good. In fact, you could run that as a singular frequency along with the flower of life or the toroidal field up in the quick zap. Oh, that gets a higher connection, but the frequency remains the same. We already have it down in the main whole tray, but so we can pop it up here in the quick zap. Okay, so then let's look at the solutions. So bone health solutions. And Julie, you have these panels, bone health assessment and bone health solutions you got with the package that you received. So it is indicating that a vitamin D of a higher potency may be called for. It's giving a very high potency here. It's talking about grasses. These are the greens that I mentioned. It's mentioning the strontium again. Not a huge fan personally of fish oil, but I was just reviewing the emulsified vitamin D from Apex Energetics, and interestingly enough, cod liver oil is one of the things that they immerse it in. It's also indicating vitamin D. Now, calcium, again, we don't look at this as a bottle of calcium pills, but we look at it as calcium that we can get from kale and green leafy vegetables. Magnesium glycinate and magnesium taurate are much more my go-to magnesium than magnesium citrate, which is the one that most people know about. Horsetail, I can't recommend highly enough. That's going to help hair, skin, and nails. We're getting all types of frequencies for vitamin D. So something maybe with that vitamin D is not maybe the best one. The one that I've found to be very effective for my patients comes from a company called Biotics, which is the biodemulsion. That's the one that I found that makes the biggest difference. Okay, so now let's go to, we would always include our Bach flower essences because, oh my goodness, there's a huge amount of emotional stuff. And I might just have done emotions as well, right? Just the emotions, right? But look at all the ones that are lighting up for her. So there's a huge amount of emotional stuff. No one likes to be immobilized, not able to move around. I broke my leg a few years back, and that is no fun whatsoever. So it sounds like she's making the very best of it and really taking it in a very positive way, but sure will bring up a lot of emotional stuff going on. And I don't know. I mean, I think, when I broke my leg, thinking back on it, there probably was a lot of emotional dissonance going on. I was conflicted about a lot of things going on, and that, usually there is something that's in the ethers that also emotionally was or metaphysically was connected to the fall. But we don't know that. Let's just call it, just say it was random, right? There's still probably a lot of emotional stuff popping up. And if you do find that there isn't something that you realize or learned from it, then, that's even better. That's a bonus. Interesting that horsetail is the highest one. So that's the gift of progressive insights, you guys. We took all the frequencies. I don't know how many we had there, probably like 50 or something frequencies. And we took them all together, and all together at the very highest level of priority, it's saying horsetail is the highest. Now, horsetail is rich in silica, and that's good for bone density, but it's one of those minerals that is not as rich in our soil as it should be, and it's really deficient. It's like when you're young, the vital force energy is like filled with the energy similar to silica. And as you age, you don't have that benefit of sort of, you lose that resilience, or you lose that vital force, or you lose that vitality. And horsetail, that silica, gives it back. It's something that Rudolf Steiner talked a lot about in nettles, really had this thing for silica being a very important mineral for longevity, for overall health. So the left femur, that's interesting that comes up. Lithium, erythropoietin, that has to do with the bone marrow. Magnesium taurate, parathyroid hormone, vitamin B5, interesting. That's adrenal stuff. And then there are some good flower essences here. We've got scleranthus, water violet, and gorse. We'll look at those. Vitamin B12, zinc for the immune system, and then we see the estrogen in there. So we've got some good stuff going on, you guys. And so let's balance for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll look at the aura. And then we will check in with Julie, and then we'll move on. Carol's next up. So Carol, get ready for that. So just a quick peek here at the scleranthus. Scleranthus is the inability to choose. Let me see if I can get this all up here at the same time. Scleranthus water violet. Can I hit this? And it'll work. Okay, so great. So scleranthus is inability to choose between alternatives. For those who suffer much from being unable to decide between two things, the first one seems right, then the other. They're usually quiet people, bear their difficulty alone, and are not inclined to discuss it with others. Remember that there might just be a little piece of this that's true for the person at the time. It doesn't have to be a 100% match. There might be a thread of that that's running through their lives. And just by reading them, the information and saying, hey, this might apply, this might not, if there's a resonance or a match, they're going to sort of percolate off, they're going to blow off a lot of that energy. They're going to release a lot of that energy just through awareness. That's how we work as human beings. A lot of the healing is through awareness. Think about all the things you're seeking and looking for. It's always about, I need to find the answer. Okay, water violet is quiet self-reliance leading to isolation. For those who are in health and illness like to be alone, very quiet people who move about without noise. They are aloof, leave people alone or go their own way. They're often very clever and talented. Their peace and calmness is a blessing to those around them. So a lot of our healing community falls into that water violet energy. Pretty common. A lot of these we do read over and over again for each week when people, come to have their case looked at. Gorse is, and this may not be something you're feeling all the time, Julie, but there might just be a little piece of it. So hopelessness and despair. So of course, probably waxes between, oh, I'm going to get better in a few weeks, and oh, this kind of crummy. Very great hopelessness. They've given up on the belief that more can be done for them under persuasion or to please others. They may try different treatments at the same time assuring those around them that there is so little hope of relief. The good news remember that it isn't just about the issue, it's the entry into light. Like the flower essence is the thing that helps you go from darkness to light. The flower essence is the door opener. That's why we use the flower essences, and we also reflect what the issue was as a way of raising awareness. So gorse restores light. Goals unattained can sometimes lead to stagnation and feelings of sadness or depression, but gorse helps to lift this. So there is a positive to this. So let's go to Julie and see how some of this has landed with her as we've been talking. If I could just get this thing to work correctly. Sorry about that. Okay, so Julie, hello,
Great.
how are you? Okay,
Good.
so
Thank you. It's interesting about the gorse. The life space that I find myself in, my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in September, and he is the primary caregiver for my mother who had a brain aneurysm 20 years ago. So in the last 2 weeks, my mother was hospitalized with sepsis and kidney failure and is now in a nursing facility. So,
good grief, my
so
goodness.
I
Oh my,
know. So
how many
there,
more things could be on one plate? Oh my gosh.
yes, and there is more, but I won't go into it. But that just gives you, I am truly inundated with, all of this stuff. My sister and I are the financial and medical powers of attorney for both parents.
Mm.
So, just trying to make those decisions at the same time. Um, I'm kind of immobile right now.
Oh my goodness. I mean, yes. I mean, hopelessness and despair, little twinges of that. My goodness. Wow. I think everybody on this call right now is sending you lots of love and good energy and prayer. Um, Anything
Thank
that we
you.
can lend to you, yeah, to help you to go through that. Um, so has this helped with maybe some more ideas for you working on the genius for
Absolutely.
yourself? Okay,
Yeah, and
good.
it's
I'm really
it's
glad.
it's really interesting about the hormone thing because I was talking to my husband about that I haven't had hot flashes for years, but since having this broken bone, I started having hot flashes and I couldn't figure it out. So anyway, I'll be visiting with you at another time, Dr. Ariel, and maybe doing that hormone panel.
Of course. Yeah, let's talk about that. I think that would be a great idea. And it may just be that you were just under more stress that caused the hot flashes, but I do think it's a good time to pause and consider that the getting some hormone balance in terms of the low ones, helping them to come up could be beneficial for you.
Great.
All right. Thanks again, Julie.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, all, everybody on the call.
Okay, great case. And Julie got her genius back in the summertime. So I'm glad that she was on here today because I heard that she was using the Rife. I would love for her to be able to get the benefit of using the wonderful resource that she has, which is the genius. And sometimes it's just a matter of really understanding how to use the genius in a different way. So if you need to, go back and maybe we need to do a lesson together, or we can get you together with one of the certified trainers, um, you know, we can work on that. So just a few things that she said. She said she was taking 5,000 international units 2 times a day. So yeah, I'd want to know what kind of HRT she's taking. I'd want to know what kind of vitamin D, their average. And we know for people who have a proclivity towards autoimmune, which may not be Julie, that they often need a much higher than an average vitamin D level. So, and okay, that's interesting. So Julie said it was on the left side, you guys. And when we looked at that, we saw that we'll go back and look at that. But the two top ones that came up were the left ilium and the left ischium, which is exactly where the break was. So that's really, really great just to see that, not that it happened. So we did a little bit of bone regeneration energy, the brow chakra, heart chakra, and then working with the energy of the toroids just for 1 minute. So let's just see how the aura changed. This is where we came after 3 minutes, which is a huge change. We'll look at the difference in a moment. And let's see where we are now. And we'll go back and we'll look at that bone anatomy information. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. And we did that bone regeneration as well. So use that bone regeneration frequency in Entangled Insights. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, so now we have those higher energy colors. We have a beautiful pink, which is really opening to divine healing energy. I would say there's a little bit of cloudiness up here that we'd want to see clear out. And there's just a little bit of density down here that we want to see, but we've got wonderful movement. We've got a total of 4 minutes that we did balancing here. And we've got this really, really great receptivity to the energy. So I think I took that twice. But we started, let's look at this. We started here. And then we went to here, and this is often angelic or divine energy coming into the person that you're seeing captured. And then a beautiful ending here. So wonderful. So she did all the work. Good response there. I love it. So just wanted to redirect your information to the bone information, and we'll take a look at it here. And remember, we put in bone, if I could spell, and we looked at the leg has the hip in it, should say hip and leg. I need to change that. So it said ilium left and ischium left, and that's exactly what she injured. That's exactly what fractured. So, okay, so we're gonna move on to our next case if Carol is ready. So Carol, are you ready? Are you ready to work with us? So let's just take this offline just for a second. We won't see the screen, so just hang in there for a second and we'll make sure that I remember to bring it back up. And we're going to bring this back up here. For those of you joined after the hour, make sure to check the events page at awakentotalhealth.com. Because we do have the Energy Medicine Summit coming up with a biofeedback focus where we'll be hearing from users of the Genius. And if you're a person who's made a lot of strides with the Genius and you feel like you should be part of our summit, then please email me. Go to my website, awakentotalhealth.com, and then just send me a message through the chat area and we'll go from there. All right, perfect. So we're back. I remembered to turn the screen back on, which is always good. All right, so we may not be able to talk to Carol. We may have to move on to another volunteer. So, Carol, it doesn't look like, it looks like you've muted yourself. Do you know how to
No.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine. So just
Okay.
to start off here, I'm going to go ahead and just, so we can talk afterwards, I'm going to have you record your voice first. So
Okay.
I'm just going to have you say, my name is, say your name. You can say your first name only if you want to, because this is recorded. And then you can just say A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U until I say, good, we're done. So I'll go ahead and I'll count you down in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
My name is Carol, A-E-I-O-U, 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 A-E-I-O-U.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, great. And I'm going to do an analysis of your picture. So tell us a little bit about what we're working on today.
I'm open for anything since I just am learning. Um, the thing that's kind of bothering me a lot right now is a difficult. That's a great picture, isn't it? um, my the bottoms of my feet have really been hurting, and I had a torn meniscus that they misdiagnosed for a year, and that's when it all started on the bottoms of my feet. And sometimes it's so painful that it's very difficult to walk.
Does your pain get better as the day goes on?
No.
Is your pain right in the middle of your foot or is it somewhere else?
It's usually at the heel and on my left foot, which is where the torn meniscus was, that's been had surgery. It's also on the front pad. They gave me some anti-inflammatories and I've only taken them a couple of times, but that seemed to help
Okay, so that's your main concern today.
today, yes.
So you just downloaded the trial. Erica recommended the Genius to you. Tell us a little bit. You've actually been in the energy medicine world for a while, right?
Yes, I'm a practitioner of various things, including primarily body talk, but about 3 other modalities as well. So,
Wonderful. And
so
what's
this is
your
exciting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your impression so far from downloading?
Well, I am fascinated. So I just want to learn more and more.
No, I love it. That's so great. Okay. So, and tell us which side the meniscus injury was?
It was in my left knee.
Left knee. Left knee. Okay. And have you been evaluated? Has anybody thought it might be plantar fasciitis?
I went to a podiatrist some time ago and he said yes, and it gave me something to put in my shoe. It did no good, but it comes and goes, but it did start after I had the problem with my knee. And
Mm.
I've had some sprains over and some little fractures here and there in my feet over the years.
Mm.
So that has I was pretty much compensating for the pain a lot of pain I had in my knee for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what do you think about in terms of like foods that you eat? Are you pretty like, oh, I know like my food plan is like awesome, or I could be doing better, or sugar is a temptation, or what's sort of your status there?
Well, we just got through with Halloween, and that was a challenge. But normally, I don't have a lot of sugars, and I don't know. I eat pretty well. I
Mm,
just went through a panchakarma, which I had a lot of khichdi for a week, and I do
mm,
make that for myself. But I do eat meat occasionally, and when I have guests, which I have right now, my diet does change.
mm.
I drink tea, but I don't drink coffee usually. So
Good. Good for
looking at
you.
what's in front of me here.
Yeah, no, it says well, these could be things that you're sensitive to that you're not consuming. It's not like a trick that we do on you, which is like, oh, let's check the foods that you're eating. It really is just checking for the foods that you may be sensitive to.
Okay.
Um, so, yeah, I mean, you could be sensitive to dairy, you could be sensitive to sugar, and a lot of people will say that they don't eat these foods because they may have been told previously that they're sensitive to them, or they may be just have an intuitive sense that it would be better if they, stayed away from them.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, let me give this some thought and let me do a little bit of testing. We'll come back and talk to you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And thanks so much for Carol being on today. And I know Colette had somebody that she wanted to introduce, I think Linda. And Linda, you can be top of the line next time at the front of the line. And anyone who wants to volunteer, go to my website, awakentotalhealth.com. At the bottom right, there's a chat function. Right after the webinar, you can chat directly with me. I'm around for the next hour. Or you can tell me in the chat box that you'd like to have a personal demonstration or that you'd like to be first as we do cases next week. So, and anyone, all of my lovelies who have the genius can also send me messages that way if you'd like to speak at our Energy Medicine Summit in December because you have something important to share with the community, then please let me know. We really appreciate all the participants and we would love to include you as the schedule allows. So let's do a quick check of spinal energy just to see what's going on there. And I am developing some information to connect nutrition to imbalances in different parts of the spine. But we do have some neck stuff going on. So I'd say neck is pretty significant. So that's something that's good to have a massage or acupuncturist or someone, or just doing yoga or stretching on a regular basis that helps with that spinal energy. It looks like there might be something going on with the neck. So almost every cervical issue. So, things that are happening with our gait or twisting things or the knee going out, the meniscus, that can be from diet. It can be from consuming meat and the American diet over a lifetime, can affect the joint, can affect the meniscus. So it's good to do things to reduce inflammation in the body. It's also good to make sure that the spine is aligned through yoga or acupuncture or chiropractic. I like low impact chiropractic, people who do more osteopathic manipulations, that's a good thing. We also want to think about those ligaments that, affecting that. We don't have, I'm trying to remember, um, I think I need to add to the anatomy, the bone anatomy. It's not really bone anatomy, the meniscus as well, because we don't really have that. But let's go ahead and look at those bones anyway, as well as bone assessment. But yeah, a lot of the people who have foot pain, like almost 9 times out of 10, you guys, it's something called plantar fasciitis, which is an issue with the bones and the ligament between the bones causing a pain. And so orthotics may help. And strengthening the feet is really, really important. They do that in yoga. Some of the yogic movements are specifically dedicated to the feet. And even when you're standing in the postures in bare feet, it's helping the health of the feet. Here's another one that you can do, which is just picking up marbles with your feet. So you go and you get an old bag of marbles, and while you're doing something, on the floor, you actually move the marbles from one side to the other with your feet. Anything that you can do to strengthen that arch, even walking, making sure you're walking barefoot for some of the time. So all of those things can help, because definitely a lot of people who are, say, over the age of 50, 55, suffer with plantar fasciitis. So it's pretty common. So it may be the right foot support. But the thing about the orthotics is that unfortunately they are like a crutch. So they ultimately weaken the arch because you're using it to, like, as a prosthesis or something. So the more that you can strengthen your own arches, the better that you are. In fact, remember, there's a good book by Dr. Bragg of the Dr. Bragg's Aminos. Remember Paul Bragg? And he has a really cool book called How to Have Healthy Feet, or How to Have Really Strong Feet. You might want to just dig that up on Amazon on Kindle or something. And it tells you all types of exercises and practices to do to make sure that those foot ligaments, it's really about the foot ligaments that stay strong. So this does say we've got the fibula on the left, which is a supportive bone. We've got the fifth metatarsal on the right, second metatarsal on the right, third cuneiform on the right, a lot of right stuff. but sometimes if right is weak, okay, the book is called Build Strong, Healthy Feet by Paul Bragg. So check that book out. Old book that he wrote, but Build Strong, Healthy Feet. A lot of people don't know how to build healthy feet. It's something that we're really not educated about. The talus on the left, that's the foot bone. The distal phalanges on the right. So there's a lot of left and right foot stuff going on, interestingly enough. So we've got that. And then we've got, I know, Carol, you mentioned a lot of things that you were working on. You sort of threw me a curveball with the foot issue, but hey, it's all good. We just go with it here. So we've got that foot stuff going on here. Let's do the leg as well and see what's going on with the hips and the actual leg itself. Wow, her scores look exactly like Julie's this morning, except we've got the left ilium and the right ilium. So I think a chiropractor is on your list of things to do because it looks like you really need a hip adjustment. It's just like, the leg bone's connected to the knee bone's connected to the foot bone kind of a thing, you guys. It really is all about compensation. So when you have one weakness in the hip, it puts extra impact or extra pressure on the knee. And people being weak in their core, being weak in their hips, being weak in their psoas, all of these things for a lifetime puts pressure on the knee. And then if there's an imbalance between the two hips, then that's going to put more pressure on one of the legs, right? So let's look at a couple of pictures here on Google and just get a sense of what's going on with the bones, right? So a lot of things are just about compensation. So she has the ilium, both of the ilium being out. So here's the ilium right here. Here's the ilium. Maybe this is related to core or something being out that was never corrected. And so something going on there, right? But if one is out and one is tilted forward, then that we call that like long leg, short leg. And this is when you lie on your side and the chiropractor gives you that adjustment from the side if you've ever had that done at the chiropractors. And so, but if one of them is tilted forward or backward or whatever it might be, then you're always going to have more of a compensation on one leg, right? And so that can lead to the pressure on the knee, which eventually could cause either the wearing out of the meniscus or a torn meniscus or, whatever it might be. It can result in that. We got something definitely going on the left side with that leg for sure. And even the coccyx being out. We got the kneecaps, both of the kneecaps showing an imbalance here. Interesting, isn't it? The fibula on the right, the sacrum. My goodness, we need some body work here. But it's good to know that you can jump in and just do some work on the genius, but also get a sense of, sometimes you look at these readings and you just go, I